Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Marketing Superpowers. And today I get to be with my good friend Tyler Krause, who is the Chief Digital Strategist and CEO of what's the company name again?
Lawn Marketing Edge.
Lawn Marketing
Current
Edge.
company.
And he's a 15-year SEO veteran. So very, very great expertise in that area. Welcome, Tyler, to the show.
Absolutely. Johnny Levy, it's good to see your face.
Man, that's always so good, bro. So the main thing you want people to know about you, if they could know nothing else, is that you've wanted to find an important task for important people.
Sure.
And then you want to execute that task better than average, and then you want to be enjoyable to work with. And if you do that, you'll never go hungry, right? So tell us about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, Johnny asks the question here, everybody, that what's the one fact you want people to know about you? And it's like, one fact? You want to lay it down to one fact? So I was like, so yeah, totally. So my answer was pretty good looking is probably what I would want most people to know. Let's throw that out there. That's why this camera is from the shoulders up here. We just keep this right here.
That's how we do, bro.
That's how we do it. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, but to actually lay it down, plenty of things to know. I love Jesus. Secondly, I'm pretty good at SEO. Third, I'm pretty good at building businesses. So there's lots of facts in there, but we just narrow it all down. Like, one of the things that I stumbled on years ago, and I tend to tell young people that I get the chance to influence their businesses, is you got to find an important task for important people, do it better than average, and be enjoyable to work with.
Yes.
And if you can do those things consistently, you'll never starve, and you'll probably be able to learn and grow and dominate in whatever industry you want to do that with. So that'd be my hope. I guess if people know one thing about me, that hopefully I live up to that standard, that we found important things to do for our clients and people that are important to us, and we do it well, and we're enjoyable to work with.
Awesome, man. Yeah, you're an amazing dude, and I've worked with you. We've actually done ministry together in the past, so I've gotten to see firsthand the way that people respond to you, and so I know that you're electric. You're a motivator. You're a galvanizer of other people, and so the first thing we do in these interviews is I dig in with you and your superpower and your gift, and then we're going to progress from there into kind of what you do for people. But you did take my Superpower Quest survey, and so on that, you said that your core drive, and I'm going to showcase this real quick on the screen. Your core drive is progress, meaning that you prioritize motion, right? Like, motion is what you want to be achieving in the world, and forward progress. There's progress, order, and harmony. It doesn't mean that you don't care about order and that you don't care about harmony. It means you care most about progress and motion.
Sure.
And then you put that your actual hero types were achiever, leader. And so what that means, when I've met people like that, it's like you drive to the finish. You're a finisher, right? You know how to make actual things happen.
Yeah. One of our core values is own the outcome.
Yes.
And so it's like a whole bunch of mess can happen in the in-between sort of thing, but did you get the thing delivered? And, did it satisfy? So, that sounds dead on.
Right. So there's that achievement piece, which is I get stuff done. I'm a heavy lifter. I finish. And then there's the leader piece, which is, man, I love to coach people. I love to direct people. I love to galvanize people together as a team in a direction, right? And so have you seen those gifts manifest kind of throughout your journey up to now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think, we both love Traction. One of the things that Traction did was the book, The Entrepreneurial Operating System, or the book Traction, if people aren't familiar with it.
Gino Wickman,
Yeah. So I know we're both fans of that. I read that book in 2018, and I was literally at my wit's end. And a marketing agency owner that I knew recommended it in a meeting and I like bought it on the spot and read it that weekend, and I hit the part between the integrator and the visionary, and I literally like circled it. I have the original copy. Like I circled it. I was on the floor of my hallway. Like my kids were going to sleep, and they wouldn't go to sleep, and I'm sitting there trying to read it and whatnot. So I was like, I got one light above me. It's just this dark room. And I read integrator versus visionary, and I read the integrator paragraph. And in the integrator paragraph, my heart was like literally falling out of my chest in despair. Because I was like, I just can't do this. Like I get what needs to be. I'm really gonna suck at like owning businesses. Like I shouldn't do this anymore because I can't be like that integrator thing that they were saying. Yep. I was like, I can't do this. And then I read the visionary, which is like 2 paragraphs later or the next paragraph later. And I literally like circled it and like put like a big thing with like 15 exclamation parts. I was like, oh my gosh, this is me.
Yes.
And so when I finally like had permission in a business structure to be able to just be who I was and be like, oh, I can be top 1% at that. Like I can do that visionary part really, really well, I think. And I just need to find somebody who's better at this other part than I am. And so anyways, I see that a lot in kind of what came out of this superhero process too, was just kind of that like key visionary, like see above the trees, get everybody moving in the right direction, bring the right people on board, go accomplish the big thing. And recently I've had it most in the fact that I started coaching soccer. One of my kids is pretty good at soccer, and I was a football kid, and but I had this opportunity where I could be his head coach, and I was like, I went from a dude who knew almost nothing about soccer to being like, all right, soccer's it. Like I'm gonna figure out how to be the best soccer coach. Like my son was like, wouldn't it be great if we could win a championship? And I was like, mission accepted, son. Like we like let's get the people on board. And so that's I see that happening all the time. So that
kind of answers my next question then, because my next question is where you see yourself on the vision, direction, execution funnel. So some people are really abstract, head in the clouds, big idea people. That's me. Some people are very concrete and execution focused and results focused and not really super imaginative. And you need both people, right? Because you were looking at the visionary and the integrator in that book. Well, the visionary is the big picture person who's kind of the force of movement towards the mountaintop. Right. And that's like the CEO gifting. But the COO gifting is like, okay, I harness everything into place so that the troops and the organization can be structured in such a way that the dream can actually happen. Because dreams, progress doesn't happen without order and harmony. Those things got to happen too. So where would you put yourself here? Because usually you have one that's your top, and then one that's your number 2.
I'll tell you this. I started at the top of that, and it took 8 painful years of scaling my first marketing agency to force myself down this funnel to the point where I could execute at a pretty high level. And it took like 3 little kids, not making enough money, trying to figure out how to serve my clients. And SEO is like the exact opposite of certainty in marketing. You do. There's formulaic portions of it, but you have to take action early. You got to wait months to know if it's going to work or not. You have to step into the void there, if you will. You have to make promises you don't know if you can fulfill, but you just have the confidence of your intention of success, and then the ability to execute. And so it becomes very, very important that you don't just stay in vision and planning mode. And so I've always said that that SEO has been a wonderful microcosm or a micro environment for business in general. Like it forces you to execute at a high level, even if you're not naturally good at it, because you're never going to get the result unless the execution is what matters. Everybody can come up with a plan. The number of people who can come up with an SEO plan for you there's like 100,000 people available to you right now that can come up with an SEO plan that sounds pretty good, especially with AI now, right?
Yeah.
It sounds pretty good. The difference is whether or not you can apply it on budget, on time, and know the right levers to pull when it goes wrong. That's the real difference between really good SEOs, really elite providers, and good planners. So the execution portion, that's maybe a long-winded way of saying I forced myself down that funnel, and now I'm pretty good at the execution portion, but I'm natural habitat is visionary.
Okay, that's good to know, man. So you're visionary, and visionary usually in the marketing space is that kind of chief marketing officer level,
right?
Right, because that's the person that can see above the trees.
Exactly.
And then I love part of the consequence of that gifting is what levers to pull when things go wrong. Right. I love how you said that, because let's acknowledge that because marketing is art and science.
Yes.
Things can go wrong.
Right. You don't know where the missteps are. They're there. You just don't know where they are yet. But the key is how you respond to them when things don't work out. And also in terms of visionary, can you inspire confidence that that you can get through the path? And I think if we relay this back to not just SEO and not just business, but even soccer, like all of these leadership things end up being, are you the type of person that can make a plan and start to execute on it and adjust in really smart ways as you go, find the right resources, find the right stuff. And man, I peak up when I hear people who are like, man, I had this issue, and it's like I ended up, I checked out like 6 books, and I listened to 4 different podcasts, and I asked my friend, and it was like, what you're doing right there is you're hunting for the solution to your specific problem, and you're willing to look outside the bounds of the path to find the right thing and bring it and jam it into the path that you're on to find the right solution. And I feel like I did that. I had to do that a lot for a long time, and it was painful. And I'm glad it didn't work for somebody else while I was doing it, because only I had to like eat my major failures in that process. It was far from smooth. Yeah.
Well, you remind me of a friend of mine who has a similar type to what you have. He's also the leader, and he owns a $20 million publishing company. And I was asking him about his success. His name's John Garrett. Incredible man. Nice. And I'm asking him about his success, and he just keeps saying, I just happen to have the right people around me. I just happen to have. He kept saying that. He said that multiple times, and I was like, bro, that's the superpower, right?
Totally.
You draw the right people around you, and you can get them inspired towards a mission, right? Like, man, that's such an incredible gift, and so it's cool that you have that. So digging down a little bit deeper. So we're going to stick with you a little bit longer, and then how you help people. What can you remember in the marketing sense what your light bulb moment was?
Heck yeah.
When you realized I can do this thing extremely well for people. Like,
oh yeah.
What did that look like for you?
Yeah, no, it was actually really helpful. So I'll try to make this really short. From age 20 to age 30, I switched careers 3 times. Just about every 3.3 years, I switched jobs. And and I remember I had 2 small kids, and didn't know I was about to have a 3rd one on the way pretty soon. Yeah. And I remember looking at my wife, who you know well, and being like, hey, I think I'm going to switch careers into this marketing gig. And her being like, you've got to pick a lane here, dude. Like, you have really got to pick a lane. And so, but I remember telling her, I was like, I really think I can do this for the next 20 years and love all 20 of the years. And I'm so thankful, like, when the Lord makes it clear like that, because I enjoyed ministry. Like, there was some incredibly wonderful things about ministry. I'm actually a little bit more introverted. I'm like probably a little too introverted for long-term great ministry success. Like I enjoy like getting my head down and working through the problems, if you will. And, much more like spreadsheet than human beings, even though I really love human beings. Like I really love relationally. But anyways, I remember I started a lawn care company, so this is part of the origin story that would lead to where we're at right now. I was in ministry. You'd actually appreciate this. This is just before I came to Aletheia. I'd left the ministry I was part of, And for about 6 months, I was still leading worship for this community youth ministry. And one of my youth group students came up to me, and I'll never forget this moment. It's why we're having the conversation today. He came up to me and he said, hey, I heard you can't get a job, because I've been trying to find a job for like 6 months. And I was like, not a good start here. That was literally his opening line. And I was like, I got offers, bro. Like, this is, I'm turning some people down. Okay. This is not this dire. And he's like, well, would you be interested in starting a lawn care company with me? And I was like, thank you. But I haven't stooped to like start partnering with a 16-year-old, in my youth ministry, like level of like rock bottom yet. I was like, I have several floors to go before I get to that. And he said, so this was his direct response to me on this. I'll never forget it. He said, well, if you'll start a lawn care company with me, I can get us #1 on Google. That was his.
What?
That was his response.
What?
And I didn't know anything about the industry at that point. I didn't really know anything about web design and marketing per se. And I looked at him and I was like, that's a thing. That's a thing you can do. You can like get yourself #1 on Google. And he was like, yeah, all you got to do is buy some links, which is in 2010 was pretty accurate. And I looked at him on the spot, and I informed my wife after the fact on this, much to her displeasure. That I was like,
you caught it for that one, bro. I know you.
Yeah, dude, I did. Like, it was so bad. I was like, listen, if you can get us #1 on Google, I'll start a lawn care company with you. Like, because that's everything. Everything was going to Google at that point. Yellow Pages was dying quickly. Mobile and Facebook and social isn't what it was, or it wasn't what it is now. It was just like everything was flooding to like desktop searches. And within about 4 weeks, we were middle to the top page Google. I built my first website at 3 a.m. On Weebly, and I discovered right in that time that I was probably pretty good at this, because it was like, it just made sense to me.
Yeah.
I had a ministry background, so I understood people and I understood persuasion at a really high level, higher. I was still 30 and learning a lot, but I've just built our first website. We started turning away like 40% of our leads, and I was like, this is insanely powerful. Like, I can't imagine a marketing channel that's more exciting than this SEO thing. And so I sold that business in 2013, and then used that to sell myself into an SEO account manager position at a digital marketing agency. And I'd say that's where my digital marketing career actually began. And again, like, it was this was actually the third, this was, now that I say that, I think this was the third shift, right? Because I was pastor, lawn care, and then I was like, I'm going into marketing. And but I was like, saying, I think I could do this for a really long time. And that first job was rough. I had a lot to learn, but taught myself SEO at night, account managed and sales by day. And then I parlayed that into a SEO director position. And, it's really helpful. You just got to produce the results, and it makes it really clear. Like, SEO is, I have a saying that I say all the time, which is the rankings you have are the rankings you deserve. And so if you have that mentality in SEO that like anything sub of #1 is your fault and your problem, it's a mentality that's really helpful. There's not like a big conspiratorial thing against you. Google hasn't penalized your site in almost all cases. It's not Google just cracking down on you. It's like, you just got to take it personally and be competitive, and you can win. But you gotta be relentless in those things. So, anyways, I kind of drifted off there, but
not at all, dude. So you got some drive. I think if you're teaching yourself SEO at night, working a full-time job during the day, trying to raise a family at the same time, you've got some drive, and you're entrepreneurial, also. It seems like.
Yeah, I think my favorite thing about SEO is I just get to talk to entrepreneurs all the time.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. That's like really my favorite part. And I get to be a big part of their success, which is really fun. Yeah. But yeah, I think, and we've discovered this with me, like at this stage of the career, I can tell I just see the patterns repeating over and over again, which is I get latched onto mission, I get latched onto an idea, and I'm best to other people, I'm best to my family, I'm best to myself, I'm best to the Lord when I am on mission somewhere and with something. And I could say that now, praise God, I was able to exit my first digital marketing agency in 2023, and got enough from that exit that I could for the first time since I was telling Casey, June of 2023 was the first month since I left ministry that I was not selling myself to the end of the month. That was the first time in that 10-year arc there. There was like, because I was sales, and even everywhere I was basically, except for like a 6-month thing where I had a job in there. Yeah. Outside of that, it was like I was always selling and trying to get, like, whether it was a business directly, right? I had a good salary and everything, but ultimately, like, when you run the company, it comes down to you. So, so that was the first time I could take a break in 2023 and actually just like push back. Yep. And I'm super happy to be back on mission. Like, I'm super happy to be driving somewhere again. And so this was the plan. It's not like it wasn't the plan, but I think my wife would agree that it's better if I have like 8 hours, 10 hours a day to just go put into something I care about and believe in.
That's right. So then that transitions us to what is the mission now. So you're best when you're on mission. You're on a mission now. What is the mission?
The short answer to that is I'm trying to help 100 lawn and landscape company owners go from 6 to 7 figures. So I care a lot about, now this will come back to, if we want to talk about that mission for a second, any lawn care and landscape guys, I went from a job to my first preneur, right? My first step out real. Like, I ran a lawn care company in high school, not the same. And I was a subcontractor in construction for a while, but this was the first thing where it's like, I'm really putting myself out there as a building a business that I can sell and kind of work together with that. And it, like a good visionary, I was all belief at the beginning, and I was all bumps and bruises and crawling to the finish line at the end of it, because it's so tough. And I think so my favorite thing about Lawn Marketing Edge in particular is the fact that I get to talk to mostly guys, not that women aren't in the industry for sure, but mostly guys who are in their like 20 to 35 to 40 kind of range there, that are on their first or second preneur. And man, they saw an opportunity in their local markets and they thought, I can do this better than who's here. I can craft a winning company out of this. So I deeply love partnering with them. The way that I do that best is we build websites that convert at a really high level, and we build websites that rank very well on Google. And our biggest success right now is Map Pack. So when it comes to SEO guys, your whole world is ranking on your Map Pack. Like, you'll print money if you get a well ranked Map Pack. So like your Google reviews, right? So that typical little three when you do a search for a local lawn care guy, that top 3 listings right there, being in those top 3 and being buyable, being hireable, and more hireable than the other 2 guys that are there, guys or gals, then you are, that's the key to leads and revenue. And stable leads and revenue allow you to staff successfully. They allow all of the other things, right? Yes. You can raise your prices. You can improve your margins. Like, when you have confidence that I've got more work coming in, and you can replace retention that you lose, all that. So I care about that end part of it a lot for guys. But how I really help people right now is just getting that initial digital presence, where you look extremely attractive to your market and you can be found very easily.
Dude, I love it. That's so concise and so clear, right? So, and I can totally see. Often I ask people, what's the gift that you give that is the gift you were given? Because usually the best gift that you have to give to the world is the gift that you were given.
Interesting.
And I'm just finding that because you can do it from your guts. right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
something, and so you know, start a lawn care company with a kid who says, I can get us to rank number one on Google, and all of a sudden you're turning away leads because it worked so well. So you've experienced that. You know it can happen, and now you go on a journey, and now you know how to do it and how to replicate that.
Yeah.
For yourself, really, right? For the avatar is yourself.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. Who I was. Yeah.
Who you were. Right?
Yeah.
So you know you can do it, right? Because you did it for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, and now we've done it for a lot of other companies, which one of the things that really stunk about selling my first agency is I sold all of my case studies. So it's like my body of work for 12 years there basically got wrapped up in a IP sale, right? So it's like as part of what, you know, what happened with that sale there, all those assets go with the company typically as you do that and whatnot. So it was fun. It was super funny to come back to the market and be like, hey, I promise I can do this really, really well. And they'd be like, sweet, show us the proof. And I'd be like, okay, I don't have any proof right now. But like, if you'll let me partner here, I think I will not sleep well until you are successful in your market. And so that's about as good a promise as I can make anybody to say, like, because your success will be my success over time. And I've gotten 2 text messages from guys from some of our earliest clients here in the last week that are like, literally, I'm having the best spring I've ever had before. These results are crushing, and and I can show you the screenshots. Like,
congratulations, man.
Yeah, and they're like, now I got hiring problems, you know, and so which is going to be, we know, right? That's going to be the next problem. How do I fulfill all this work that's coming in? And so I'm so thankful for people that have trusted us early, and now we're getting to start to produce the results over and over again.
Well, and I love, and I imagine you're a big part of the sales process because of the fact that when you're talking to a person that's feeling that pain, and it's like, I want to grow, I want to progress, but I don't know how. And the answer is, let us show you how, because we help people move from 6 to 7 figures through SEO and high converting websites, right? Because what good is SEO if your website sucks, right?
Absolutely.
So then you have to be dealing with it on both ends, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because it's that's a huge part of what we do. I don't want to say that it's different because there's probably other great providers out there that do the same thing. But I have never known how to not deliver what is my core value, right? Owning the outcome. People don't want, nobody on the planet actually wants a number 1 ranking. Okay, so nobody on the planet wants a website. Websites are a pain in the butt. You don't want a website. You don't want a number 1 ranking. You don't care about having those. What everybody wants is the results that come from a number 1 ranked website and a well-producing website. And so it's all about how that marketing collateral is going to affect your customers and your future customers' interactions with your company. That is the only reason any of us do any of this work. So owning the outcome, it's like, I can deliver websites that rank that look terrible. Like, that would actually be a lot cheaper and easier. But that would totally defeat the purpose of why we rank them in the first place. So
So then, as we look at kind of the ecosystem of marketing, right? Because part of the person that's watching this isn't necessarily a lawn care organization, but they're probably a small to mid-sized business owner, and it's like, okay, how do I get the result you're talking about, right? Like, yes, I don't care about a website, I don't care about SEO, I don't care about any of this. I care about, can I get more clients signing up with me?
Absolutely. Well, and a lot of this, I appreciate the question a lot, because what we do for lawn care companies is transferable to so many different businesses. And at my last agency, I counted it up right at the end. I had served 95 different niches by the time I exited that company. And for the most, we had like 40 different niches at the same time. And I was losing my mind because it was so hard to like quantify everybody's buying structure. What does their customer look like? What do their offers need to be? But in that like meat grinder of a marketing experience, one of my favorite tools that kind of emerged from that is this method I call the TOT Method. And And so you can't find much of it online. If you do a search for my name, I think I've got an interview or two out there where I talk about the TOT method, but it stands for traffic, offer, and trust. And everybody I've shared this with in person tends to find a lot of like analysis like value with the TOT method. And so we can talk about this as far as an SEO position goes. So that the TOT method, the traffic, offer, and trust, is basically three primary components of every successful marketing campaign. So wherever you're at, whatever kind of business you have to have these three things in order for that marketing campaign to be successful. And what's even better is the ability to assess what's missing using the TOT method. So so when you think about TOT, these three things, let's say you've spent some money on Facebook ads, or you've put some YouTube videos out there, or you've built a website, maybe you've got some SEO. The first component of it is traffic. Let me put that aside for a second and talk about offer and trust. So right, so when it comes to offer, Alex Hormozy does really great work with offer, with $100 million offers and whatnot. Yeah, you get your Grand Slam offers and things like that. A lot of our offers suck, and to not be too rude to people. StoryBrand is another one that's really great at like. One of the fundamental problems of your marketing campaign is that you're offering the same thing that everybody else does in town, and I mean really like that's what you're doing. So I'll put this into the context for what my team, or what it works for, like lawn care guys. I will talk to lawn care guys or service guys in general, a lot of people, and I always ask them this question: how do you differentiate yourself on the phone with a customer that's trying to go with a competitor? So if you're on the phone with a competitor or with a customer and they're trying to be like, why should I choose you? Just listen to your answer on that, because you'll actually verbalize what your offer is. You'll verbalize how you differentiate yourself. And that's step one, is like, oh, that's actually what my offer is this is what I really believe is the thing that makes us hireable. Okay. And so maybe it's right. Maybe it's price. Maybe you're like, well, we're the lowest price in town. That's an offer, actually. That is an offer that happens a lot. Maybe you're the highest quality, but here's the problem with most of the guys that I deal with is 95% of the answers are basically, well, we've got the best service. And so they're like, well, we take care of our customers, we do the best service. And I'm like, okay, great. So does every other lawn care guy in your town. Every other one of them will say the same thing. Oh, we offer the best service. And so that leads us into the trust asset portion of this, the trust portion. So it's like, let's say, okay, you're the best service in town. That's an offer. That's fine. Maybe it's the same one as everybody else. So then how do you actually build any kind of belief that you actually offer the best service in town? Because I can tell you exactly what should exist if you offer the best service in town. You should have a Google review platform, or your Google business profile should have 500 5-star reviews.
There we go.
And it should, right? And it should say...
I see what you're saying. Totally see
You get what I'm talking about? Yeah, exactly. It should have, or maybe you're small, maybe you're new, and it's like even 50 or 5. And how many of these guys don't have any?
Look and see who has the most.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
It's not you. It's not you.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And I say this humbly in the fact that like my business this business is new. I haven't been working it full time for very long, and so we don't have that many reviews. And it's like you're trying to convince people you're good at marketing, and one of the big problems is I don't have 100 lawn care guys standing behind me being like, this is legit. And so we're in that build process right now. So like I live this, but and so the point is, your offer is, I have the best service in town. Or maybe you've got a product like, my product is better for this, and this reason, right? Or my service is better for this, and this reason. And so as soon as you decide what, and there's some variance there in terms of offer, but as soon as you decide what your offer is, you need to then figure out, and here's how I think about trust assets. From a trust perspective, what is the best asset that you could possibly imagine for your market and for you? So for lawn care guy, it's probably a Google business profile with like 500 5-star reviews, or maybe 500 starts to look too scary. Remember, we're looking for the best possible here, right? So maybe actually like 125 reviews. That means you've served a lot of people really well, but you aren't too big that you can't offer good service, right? You haven't gotten too big. So that's That's what I'm talking about. It's like we can all visualize what the top trust asset would be for your business. Somebody else might be like, maybe it's an influencer. Like maybe your product desperately needs a top influencer in your market to stand next to you in person and point at you and be like, this person is the solution you're looking for. That might be the highest trust asset. People can build a $1 million business off of the right person or the right trust asset endorsing your product or service within your market. And so the combination of either your offer is weak, maybe your offer is weak. Okay, your trust assets better be banging. They better be the best in the industry if your offer is weak. Okay, so that's that combination between those two of offer and trust assets, because lots of weak offers win when enough people are behind them, endorsing them, and you know, think about your industry for that and everything. And so the third piece, I've been vamping for a while, so if you want me to stop on that, but I can talk third piece too. Yeah. Oh, Johnny, you're freezing on me. I don't know if it's me or you.
Keep going. No, keep going. Yeah, just keep going. It's recording locally for each of us, so just keep going. But yeah, yes. Yeah. Keep going, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So the third piece then is traffic. And there's others, right? Like people can listen to this and criticize and be like, yeah, there's definitely other areas you can look at with this, for sure, right? Add copy, right? Design, all sorts of stuff. But all of them, typically, like if you have bad design is a negative impact on trust. Okay, really great design is a positive impact on trust. So you can
interesting.
The impact on a trust asset as far as execution goes. And this is my Achilles heel. I am a terrible designer of things. And if I could do this, Johnny, I'd be the total package, I feel like, as a marketer. But I have to rely on people whose superpower is like crafting beautiful things. Yeah. And so my stuff never seems to look as good as I want it to. And that has an impact on how much you trust me as a marketer. It's very real. So there's other things we could dial into there, but then let's just talk the traffic portion. So the traffic portion of it is the thing that you can use to wipe over the first two. So if your offer is weak and your trust assets are bad, if you get 1 million interested customers to look at you, 1,000 of them will say yes, even if your offer's weak and your trust assets are bad. Some sub portion, 0.01% of 1 million interested customers will just be like, I need the solution tomorrow. Like, fine, let's just do it. Let's go for it. It looks good enough, right? It looks good enough in their place. So that's the last aspect there is the traffic portion, but it's also kind of the first, because you want to craft your offer and your trust assets for the traffic source that you're pursuing. So, but a lot of people just look at the traffic portion and think that's the reason that their campaign is failing or their marketing is failing. Is like, and in some cases it is. Sometimes you have like a dynamite offer. How many times people have been like, my product will solve their problem. Like, I know that it will. It's so awesome. And it's like, yep, your offer is really great. But I don't have any reason to believe you outside of, if I don't know you, like you're just a dude on the internet, I don't have any reason to believe you. And then thirdly, they don't tell enough people, right? And they don't get enough exposure to audience and things like that. And so that's how, like, in terms of value, if you look at what we do at Lawn Marketing Edge, and in terms of value to your audience and everything, it's literally that. Google is my traffic source, right? Those are interested customers. So it's like how our websites gain additional traffic is a huge portion of that process. But then as soon as those eyeballs hit your marketing collateral, it's an offer and trust asset deal. And so we have all kinds of things that we do and ways that we structure what we do so that throughout the entire process, you are getting sprinkled with things that reduce anxiety. They reduce fear so that trust can increase of like, okay, I think this person is my provider. And so we try to craft that, however imperfectly, it doesn't always work. exactly right. Sometimes, I got guys with some rough images. It's hard to sell somebody on a big hardscaping job if you don't have any hardscaping jobs that you can point to. Like, so how do you make the best trust asset you can with the assets you have? That's how we think about it. And so then you can take somebody that's like, actually, you don't have any very good examples of what you do, but you communicate really well. So I desperately need you to shoot some videos on your next job so that I can put you where I should put a picture of a beautiful project. I'm going to put you, because right now you have to sell that because you don't have any beautiful projects to send to folks. So that's how you really start to craft the right assets with the right offers and everything. So,
bro, you obviously know what you're talking about. Like, this even was enlightening for me, right? Like I'm learning. Yeah. This feels like an educational for me. What would you say you're best at in the TOT model? Like, what's traffic, offer, and trust? What's your sweetest of sweet spots?
I would have to say it has to be the traffic portion.
Yeah.
Because getting ranked at the top of Google, getting eyeballs on your site is in theory, it's the part you control the least. And so being able to know the way through that journey is for sure probably my biggest asset. But then I guess the other aspect is just being I needed to create the TOT method because of how my brain can't handle too many details. In all honesty, I just have to look at it and be like, what's my issue here? It's like, oh, we don't have any traffic on their site yet. So it's like, I can't even decide how many people go to address their marketing copy to be like, you know what this really needs? I really need to tweak I need to spend my whole afternoon just tweaking this, that, and this sort of thing. It's like, well, how many people have hit your site? It's like, well, we get like 15, 20 visits a month kind of thing. It's like, you got a traffic problem. Like, you don't even know if your offer sucks.
Don't worry about it, right? Don't worry about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, go to Facebook and get yourself 1,000 visitors, that is a relatively well-targeted audience, and then start to make, which I don't like Facebook traffic, so that's maybe a bad example, but it's the easiest thing to be like, you can go put a Facebook ad up today and start getting eyeballs on your collateral so that you can start understanding if you have a good offer or if your trust assets. But then too, there's like this, I'm sorry, John, but I'll say, like, as soon as you start spending money to send people to the marketing collateral you've built, you'll have an internal understanding of whether or not you're insecure about your offer and your trust assets, because you'll suddenly be like, why am I paying money to send people to this? This sucks. And it's like, yeah, it does. And that's what you need to know. Yes. It's okay. All of ours sucks at first, but you can fix it. You need to fix it. And that's just hearing that it's like, ooh, this isn't as good as I want it to be. It's like, I wouldn't trust this. And it's like, all right, there you go.
This has been amazing, man. So we're wrapping up, but I have learned some things that I'm gonna have to process now. The TOT method, I think, is really useful. Like, so simple. So for like I said, the audience here, small to mid-sized business owner who's like, well, how do I market well for my size with limited resources? It's like, okay, traffic, offer, trust. This is a great way now to think about the enterprise in a way that breaks it down into simple parts that I can probably digest a little better. I'm thinking about my own book, The Superpower Quest, and how do I use TOT to conceptualize where the work needs to happen on my end. So thank you for spending time and sharing your wisdom with us, and for everybody who's watching, thank you for hanging out with us.
Absolutely. I hope we do it again sometime, Johnny, and I appreciate you so much. Thank you for all you do.
Hey, no problem, man. Take it easy.